Hi, good evening, welcome. We were hoping this gentleman, Mike, was going to join us, but I guess he didn't.
He might call in.
He might call? Hopefully call in. Anyway, before we get into what I guess Dennis and I are going to have a long discussion regarding the Board of Education and what the state is doing. I saw this article, letter to the editor today. Actually, there are two letters to the editor, but and one by Jason Morris regarding big class sizes betray New London kids, and then the other one, minimum qualifications for the next president. So I just wanted to read that to you. So if you have not seen these, and you'll see this. So I just want, before we get into it, I'll start with the minimum qualifications for the next president. And Michael Scanlon from Mystic. He's not watching the show because it doesn't go out there. I don't need to like my next president. I do need to respect, believe, and trust him or her. My next president must reinstitute the United States worldwide recognition as the leader, not the loser. My next president must halt the spending, then taxing policies. My next president must support local law enforcement and condemn mob rule. My next president must promote inclusiveness, not divisiveness. My next president must find ways to affirm our Constitution and defend the separation of powers. My next president must show the hand to both our friends and foes when their positions run contrary to U.S. interests. My next president must afford no quarter to any bad actor threatening harm to our homeland. My next president must never declare a, quote, red line, unquote, until after it has been established on the ground. My next president must recognize that the survival of the nation and the American way outstrips the survival of incumbency or of the party. And I think this was a really good letter to the editor because it just shows you what we've had for the past, 8, 12 years or whatever. How many people are just tired of being told they're racists? How many people are tired of telling that, oh, this is politically correct? It goes on and on and on. And I want to feel good again about America, and I just don't. There was an article that I just briefly read on the internet about some 500,000, possibly 1 million people could be losing their food stamps sometime this year because the economy, according to Barack Obama, is so good that the workforce is down, unemployment is down to 5%. So people are going to go back to the way it was supposed to be done. You're on food stamps for 3 months out of a 36-month period, and you have to be actively looking for a job, which a lot of people just don't.
Well, a lot of people have given up.
And I don't think that should be allowed.
Well, I know it may not should be allowed, but the economy is not what this man or the people in the government are saying. It's true.
And especially in southeastern Connecticut.
If you look at all the people that aren't looking for work because they can't find work, or the amount of people that have given up, that whole figure that they present to you changes. Mm-hmm. So if you have somebody that's on some kind of assistance, whether it's food stamps, welfare, whatever it may be, and they can't find work,
what are they going to do?
Yeah. Or if the only work they can find is, say, for instance, half of what they're getting in money value, so they're supposed to give up what they're getting and then go out and work for minimum wage somewhere and be in a position where they can't afford to take care of their family?
Well, according to what Obama wants to do next is then have an insurance program that if you have to take a job that you're making less money than what you were, that the government will pay the difference.
I don't think they should pay in, well, I guess it's the same, but I was going to say I don't think they should pay in money value. I think they should pay in assistance. We have those programs set up, but, and so some people can say, well, you're right back where you started. Well, not so. I mean, if some people do find work, people will go out and work if they know they have enough to take care of their family. That's the biggest part, is taking care of your family. There's a program somebody brought up in Connecticut. They were trying to push through to where, say you're getting, for easy figuring, folks, you're getting $400 a week from Connecticut for assistance. Well, what they would do is you would get $200 for assistance, and the other $200 would go to a company to hire you and to train you. And then when you reach a point to where you're making enough money to not be on that program, then you stood a good chance of that company actually hiring you full time.
Right.
So you're getting out and you're going to work, and you have to go to work to get that other money. The company's getting money from the state for having you there, and you're getting a paycheck, and you're getting half of what you were getting on assistance. Now,
There are people who are
that's
working.
a great plan,
It
as
is.
far as I'm concerned.
And there are people who are working 2 and 3 jobs because they're all part-time jobs, and they can't get decent health care insurance because it's all part-time.
Yeah.
So
They need to tweak the whole insurance thing. I mean,
yeah.
it's
The insurance company's gotten away with murder for absolutely so many
That's
years.
true.
They never lose, even when there's a devastating storm or anything. This is in my opinion. I don't think they ever lose. I think they have reinsurance on anything that happens. And then if they have to pay out $1 billion, well, they know they're going to go back and increase the rates. And I don't think that should be allowed. I really don't.
And another thing with the insurance company, especially like your car insurance, your house insurance, whatever, if something happens and they have to pay out, they turn around and jack up your rates. That shouldn't be allowed.
No, I'll give you a prime example.
That should not be allowed.
Do you have to have flood insurance on your house?
I don't know. I might already have it, not know.
If you don't, I mean, you're far away from the water enough that's not going to happen.
Well, what's the limit? 5 miles?
I
or
don't know. Oh
something
yeah,
like that?
probably which is stupid to begin with.
I'm on a high elevation
Right.
too.
A few years ago, and I want to say as little as possibly 2 years ago, my flood insurance was $380 a year. It is now this year $695
And the reason is?
because they can do it. I have
See,
never
that's where it's wrong.
It's wrong. I have never put a claim in for any water damage. Even when I've had water damage, I haven't put a claim in because it wouldn't be enough. I'd be paying the deductible. So I never put a claim in, and I don't think, regardless of whether you have to have a mortgage, if you have a mortgage, you have to have flood insurance. I think that's totally wrong also, because if I choose not to have flood insurance, I'm going to make all those repairs anyway. I'm not going to screw the insurance
Well,
company by saying anything.
if you had the money to make those repairs, you're in a position where you are. If I lived there, I would have flood insurance.
Well, I have flood insurance, but the point is, I've never. Why should my premiums
but
go
you
up?
know, if you haven't never made a claim, there's no way they should be able to jack up your insurance.
And that's what they've done for whether it's
But
fire,
they got such
for
a huge
regular homeowners.
lobbyist group.
Huh?
They got such a huge lobby group that they can get away with this.
Well, and that's why so many people are fed up with the way the government's run, and that's why two people are doing well.
Trump is going to be president. He's
I
going to
don't
change
know.
a lot
if
of this
If
stuff.
he doesn't tone down his rhetoric,
The heck with his
been
rhetoric.
so nasty. I mean,
He's nasty.
who else has been nasty to him? Nobody's been nasty.
Nasty to him?
Who?
Are you kidding me?
Who?
Right now, you have people in the Republican Party that are planning some kind of coup that if he gets the nomination, they're going to find a way to take it away from him.
Well,
he's making all these politicians in Washington scared because he's going to go in there and he's going to take away their cushy little jobs, and hopefully he's going to do something to where he can get rid of some of these guys that have been there for 20, 30 years.
I agree with that. However, I want to know if, when they took that pledge to whoever gets the nomination, they will support them. Is that going to happen?
We'll
If
see.
he was, and it's smart, if Trump is as smart as he says he is, I would be lining up all the people who are running for president and saying, I want you to be part of my cabinet. What post do you want? If I get the nomination.
Right now, they all want to be president.
I know, but
So that ain't gonna
after
happen.
this, after
That ain't
the
gonna happen.
Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina, I mean, because Huckabee is not going to get it. Fiorina is not getting it. Santorum is not getting it. There's a lot of Ron Paul is not going to get it. You can say who's not going to get it. So make allies. Don't make enemies.
That's a lot of that's like you say is rhetoric. That changes once.
I hope so.
I just know if the Republican Party, whether they're conservatives, I don't like the labels conservatives, liberals, and all that. It's a bunch of crap. I am not voting for the man because of whether he's a conservative or liberal. I'm voting for his experience at making things happen.
Right.
And I'm voting for the man. I'm not voting for his political party.
No, I'm not voting for the political party either.
This is all crap.
There's no way I could ever vote for somebody like Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton, who all they want to do is spend more and more and more and more, and we just don't have it. It's a joke.
Christ, if Bernie Sanders gets in and he does what he wants to do, our deficit is going to almost triple.
Do you know what he said? Something about the fact that he's going to make all these billionaires and whoever, they're going to pay their fair share, which is what garbage. However, before that even gets that far, those billionaires are smart enough that they're going to take all their money and leave.
Oh yeah.
And who's he going to tax then?
Middle class.
He's not going to be able to say, "You leave, I'm going to tax you." Bernie Sanders is a joke.
Bernie Sanders knows he can't alienate the people that are billionaires or whatever. These people, even though everyone says, "Oh, all these companies going to Europe," well, they have. A lot of them have. But there's still companies here that are owned by billionaires that employ people. Right. So what's Bernie going to do? He's going to push them to the point where they're going to leave, and now there's even more people that need to be on the system?
That's the Democratic
That's
way.
real brilliant.
Well, that's who we got running for Democrats.
So as far as that letter there that you just read about the presidents,
I agree
telling
with
you know what I did today?
What? What'd you do?
I sent the email to Donald Trump's committee or whatever he has.
I want to get him on this show.
And I asked them if they had any magnetic signs, and I would like one to put on the back of my truck.
There you go.
I don't know if they'll answer me.
Give me you have to get me that.
You just go to Donald Trump, and then everything pops up.
All right, I'm good. Because
you're going to ask him to come on the show?
Wouldn't that be great? If we could get somebody, a candidate coming on the show, I think that'd be great.
I wonder if we get any calls in. But back to the school stuff. We really went off there.
Big class sizes betray New London kids. This was written by Jason Morris. And Jason Morris ran for the school board. He didn't make it, right?
No.
So recently, the 3-year New London teachers contract was negotiated and approved by the union, administration, and Board of Education. As always, a final copy or a list of changes was not released to the public until after it was approved.
Well, there's that transparency again.
Isn't it? While I have hoped to make my letters positive in nature, there was no getting around the amount of disappointment I feel. After many board members proclaimed their support for lowering class sizes in our district, they have failed to negotiate or clearly articulate a plan to keep their word. The newly approved document has no changes to class size numbers and no plan for reducing them, even after the administration told us it was possible. This has major implications for our school building projects over the next 8 years, and every party that signed it knew it. Without an update to that section, the state will spec our school projects to accommodate our outrageous class sizes. While I know of one or very few members who actively supported reducing class sizes, it's an absolutely shameful result from our elected body. One can only estimate that they don't agree that our students deserve at least equitable sizes to that of wealthier and whiter districts. That bothers me, the last sentence, but however. So the situation with the New London schools is that they have large class sizes. However, and I agree we need lower class sizes. That means more teachers, right? On the day, on Saturday, magnet schools losing funding. That's going to have a big effect on what even happens to the whole district. And you and I were talking about this, and this deserves a huge amount
But
of discussion.
are people paying attention? You know,
I don't know.
I don't hear of anybody paying attention. Now, the next Board of Ed meeting, Peg Curtin said that they were going to discuss this. I would think that place would be swamped with people. This is going to not only affect every person in this town that has kids in school, it's going to affect every person in this town, even the ones that don't have kids in school.
Absolutely.
Because if the state backs out of money, which it clearly says it's going to start, somebody's got to pick up that tab.
Well, the state,
And it doesn't just affect
but the
New
state,
London.
I know it affects anybody with a magnet school. However, this was negotiated hopefully in good faith that New London was going to embark on a large situation for a magnet school district.
Yeah.
You said $200 million, right?
It's probably up to that by now.
Okay, so what is our percentage of the cost?
Ours would be about 30. Well, when they bonded $168 million, that was the first figure. It was going to be $37 million.
Okay. Oh, and we know it's a lot more.
Well, it will be more. You know, you're going to have cost overruns.
Or let's say
and have all that stuff.
20 to 25%. We're not going to be able to afford the other 75%, and it's technically the state is reneging on their promise to fund the school system.
Well, they're reneging because they basically owe so much money to different pensions and stuff like this that these places can come back and sue the state and get the money.
Right.
So there's no way we can go and sue the state, that I believe, for what they're doing.
Well,
and we've already started some of these projects. I mean, they're in the very beginning stages, and this is where the Board of Ed and the city government has to look at this and say, well, if they're doing this much now, things don't get better in Hartford, they're going to do more.
Wouldn't you, if you had a project started at the planning stage and you knew you were not going to get money, wouldn't you stop until you found out if you were?
I would definitely stop.
Okay, so if it's in just the planning stages, and we know New London needs a new high school. However, I'm sorry, you promised us 75% of the cost, and you're not giving it to us now? We're stopping. It has to stop.
We are going to have to bite the bullet on fixing up New London High. If this all keeps going the way it's going and the money's not there, then we have to bite the bullet on paying, not for a new high school. I don't believe it should be a new high school. I don't fall into that little trap that, well, we looked at it and the amount of work that needs to be done is going to cost almost the same as a brand new high school. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
It's easy to tell people that, especially when people don't understand it. But we will have to fix up the school to bring it in compliance with whatever we need to and bite that bullet. Mm-hmm. But it's better to bite that bullet at, say, $60 million, and I'm just picking a figure, folks. That ain't an actual figure anywhere. But say $60 million than it is to bite the bullet for $168 to $200 million and know that's not going to be the end of it.
No, we know that's not going to, because first of all, we have to come under the magnet school, this agreement, 25% has to be from out of district, correct?
Yes.
Now, we know that Nathan Hale already is at 21%. Is Winthrop, they're over the 25%, I think.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, this is the problem. You're hearing one thing. I heard that Nathan Hale was, all set.
No, I know that Nathan Hale wasn't
okay,
all set.
but I mean, I heard one of our politicians in town say that it was all set. We were getting all the money that is owed to us. We had 2 successful magnet school projects, yada, yada, yada. Now you find out, well, it wasn't as complete as we thought, but we weren't told that. Nobody told us that.
No.
We found out that in an article.
Well, and this is typical. This is how we are typically lied to by, obviously, city politicians as well as state and federal. So let's take a call.
Okay.
Good evening, you're on. Thanks for holding.
Hey there, my bestest buddies.
Hey!
I wish I had Skype or video conferencing so I can put on my surprise face.
Where?
Oh, Dennis knows we're not surprised at what's going